Right, Krita, new series, let's kick it off.
October 2024. A forum post titled, "I am sobbing." A user closed Krita without saving. Their art piece is gone. July 2025. Krita crashed and created an autosave. The user deleted the autosave on next launch because the dialog did not make clear that deleting it meant permanently losing their only recovery file. Layered work, gone. These are the Krita horror stories. Not infrastructure cascades, not payment processors removing purchase content. Hours of art that no longer exist because a crashed dialog was misread. The oldest tool in this comparison and the most unusual. Free always has been, built by a community since the late 1990s. A non-profit foundation formed in 2012 to pay for developers. Revenue from selling a free application on storefronts. The brush engine artists call the most expressive in any free painting tool. The interface a community post describes as always feeling awful. Both accurate. The project began as part of a desktop environment's office suite in the late 1990s. The original application was renamed several times before becoming Krita. For most of its early history, development depended entirely on volunteer time. The 2012 turning point was the formation of an independent non-profit foundation specifically to provide sustainable funding. The foundation's role is to raise money through donations and storefront sales, pay developers to work on the project full-time, and provide the infrastructure that the broader desktop community could not efficiently absorb. The funding mechanism is unusual. The application is free to download from the project's website. It is also sold on multiple digital storefronts. The paid versions are identical to the free version. Users who pay do so to support development, not to unlock capabilities. The storefront income supplements donations and helps fund 4 developers who work on Krita as their primary occupation. The 2023 store's update explained this directly. Monthly development reports consistently mention funding status because the project's continued professional development depends on it. 4 developers is a small team for an application of this complexity. The major architectural migration from one interface framework to its successor has been the dominant technical project of 2023 through 2026. A larger team would complete it faster. The team they can fund is working on it steadily. 2024 marked 25 years of continuous development. Few pieces of free software survive that long with active maintenance. The survival is a direct result of the foundation model, converting community goodwill into sustainable funding without selling the project to a commercial owner. The work loss pattern is personal and immediate. An artist loses hours of creative work. The first failure mode is the unsaved close. The October 2024 case is the simplest. The user closed without saving. The work is gone. This is not a software fault. It is the fundamental risk of any unsaved digital work. What makes it a story worth documenting is the emotional weight. Hours of creative work, gone, because one dialogue was dismissed at the wrong moment. The July 2025 case is more nuanced. The application crashed. The autosave system created a recovery file. The application prompted the user on next launch. The user, not understanding what they were dismissing, deleted the autosave instead of restoring it. The system worked. The interface around it failed. A more explicit warning stating that deleting the file means permanently losing the only recovery copy would have prevented this specific loss. The performance complaints document the second failure category. A 20,000 pixel canvas maxing processor and memory usage, the resource hunger at the edges of capability. On strong hardware, the application performs well. On modest hardware, the hardware many students and hobbyists use, large canvases and complex brush configurations push the application into unusable territory. The project's own documentation acknowledges this. Performance settings for memory limits, tile sizes, rendering modes, and cache sizes need to be tuned for the specific system. This is more configuration burden than paid tools typically require from beginners. The users most likely to be on modest hardware are the least likely to know which settings to change. The brush engine is the core differentiator and the reason artists stay. It is not a single system, it is a collection of 9 or more distinct engine types, each designed for different painting effects. Standard bitmap brushes, color smudge that blends and smears to mimic traditional media, hairy brushes simulating real bristle physics, particle engines for physics-based effects, filter brushes that apply image processing on each stroke. Each engine has its own parameter set. Engines can be combined with custom tips. The result is a brush system that can simulate oil painting, watercolor, ink, chalk, and digital airbrush in a way that no other free tool approaches. The March 2026 fix for brush speed lurching is the kind of detail that justifies the community's assessment. The developers are refining how speed-dependent opacity and flow changes feel during a stroke. That level of attention to brush behavior is what separates a painting tool from an image editor. The animation system supports frame-by-frame drawing on a timeline with onion skinning, audio import for timing reference, and video export. It does not offer rigging, tweening, or the production workflows that dedicated animation tools and paid competitors provide. The scripting interface allows custom panels, batch processing, automation, and integration with external tools. This is unusual for a free painting application, and is the reason technically inclined artists choose it over alternatives that lock similar capabilities behind paid plugin ecosystems. The file format support covers the dominant industry standard for layer interchange, scalable graphics, high dynamic range imaging, and color management profiles. If you paint and you do not want to pay, Krita is the answer. The brush engine is the strongest in any free painting tool. The color smudge engine in particular produces results that professional artists describe as comparable to paid alternatives. The open source license means the code is inspectable, forkable, and cannot be taken away by a commercial decision. No subscription anxiety, no upgrade cost, no vendor who can change the terms of access. Compare that to the subscriber agreement language documented in the previous series, where the platform explicitly states you never owned what you purchased. Accept that the interface requires investment to learn. The community that loves the tool also acknowledges that using it can feel difficult. Docker layouts, brush organization, color management options, and workspace configuration all demand time before the application becomes comfortable. The users who stay with the project longest are the ones who invest that time. The investment pays off. Accept that performance on modest hardware requires configuration that beginners are unlikely to know about. The documentation exists. The community threads explaining which settings to change for specific hardware configurations exist. The burden of finding and applying them falls on the user. Enable autosave. It is on by default. If the application crashes and prompts you about a recovery file, restore it. Do not delete it. The work loss that defines the complaint record is largely preventable with the autosave system functioning as designed. The interface around the recovery dialog needs improvement, and the community has documented this clearly, but the system itself works when the user understands what the dialog is asking. The project is 25 years old and still shipping. The March 2026 monthly report is current. The 2026 roadmap is live. The framework migration is in progress. 4 developers funded by a non-profit foundation through donations and storefront sales. The model is more sustainable than projects that depend on a single creator's motivation and more precarious than commercially funded tools with dedicated revenue streams. The community's summary captures the position accurately. The best free digital painting application available with the learning curve to prove it. The artists who learn the curve get access to a brush engine that justifies the effort. The artists who need a smoother path to productivity will find it in the paid alternatives that follow in this comparison. Both choices are valid. The question is whether the cost you are willing to pay is time or money, and Krita is the answer for everyone who chooses time.